Welcome back, Beans Army, to another episode of the Less is More Sports Podcast, the college offseason podcast where you could say we're less of the regular season, but more of the offseason. I'm going to be completely honest. We weren't even planning on doing a show. Given an inconsistent schedule with my work, I figured, if anything, I may just do a solo show by myself, just get a couple things off my chest. But then when I messaged the group chat, they're all like, no, I want to hop on a show too. I wanted to do one by myself because who says I like Matt and Ryan? Like I said, like my name says, I don't even like y'all. Y'all just
Well,
Matt's like, yeah, we know.
I
But
mean,
anyways, here we are. Ryan, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, I'll do a show if I'm invited. Even though I'm in the group chat, I want to feel like I'm invited and want to be in the show. So I felt like I was wanted.
Well, I don't know what made you feel like that. I don't want you.
Well, Les's text sounded nice, so
My scram text sounded nice.
yeah, just like I put the time out there, or I guess Matt did, and then you were like, "Yeah, sounds good." So then that's when I felt invited.
Matt, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I'm just gonna quit putting the time now.
That reminds me of that Kevin Hart segment where he's like, Harry, pick the code. And then Harry misses the code. Matt picked the time, and yet Matt was late.
Well, sometimes snow decides it's going to happen and blow in your garage, and you have to get it out of there.
That's true. Yeah, I was very surprised to wake up and see that we got even more snow. Wasn't a ton of snow, but it was enough that we got to brush our vehicles and stuff off.
It was so weird because it's like they said it could do something, and then I open the garage, and there's like snow under the door, and I'm like, oh man, that's gonna freeze and it's gonna get the door stuck. So I had to go out there and brush it all out. So it's like, oh crap, now it's 9:30. Damn it.
I'm already tired of the snow. We got enough snow, and Matt got even more snow than us.
Yeah, it's miserable, and there's more snow possibly coming Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, from where we're at, it doesn't seem like we're gonna get a lot, but still, like after a winter storm, it's like I'm done with this snow. Just get out of here.
let's bring on spring.
Yep, let's bring on spring. Let's bring on heck. I'll even go with summer. I'm not really even that big of a summer fan, to
Hold
be
on,
completely
hold on.
honest.
We have to wait to see what the groundhog says. The groundhog says.
That's right.
Groundhog is powerful, yes.
Yes, the almighty groundhog.
Yeah.
But anyways, you know what's weirder than getting unexpected snow?
Puxatawny Phil.
What?
That's the name of the groundhog.
All right. Anyways,
Did you not
you
know
know
the
what's even
groundhog's name?
no, I just know him as the groundhog.
He's Puxatawny Phil.
I didn't know that.
You would know that.
You did not know that?
No, that's
You're
not.
talking
Is that
about
common
Groundhog
knowledge?
Day and you did not know the name of the friggin' groundhog?
Chat, let us know in the comments. Is it common knowledge to know the name of the groundhog? Let us know in the comments. But anyways, do you know what's weirder than getting unexpected snow and apparently not knowing the name of the groundhog? Amari Bailey is trying to come back to college. Yes, the number 5 prospect in the class of 2022 who played 1 year at UCLA, who then entered the draft, went in the second round, and has now played a total of 10 games in his NBA career, is trying to come back to school. Now, Matt, you said in the group chat when we talked about this yesterday
Yeah.
that if this happens, we're all screwed.
Well, I didn't
Elaborate
say
on that, sir.
screwed, but I said something even stronger because that's how I feel about it. But yeah, this is the Rubicon, man. I mean, James Najee was one thing. I mean, and we've seen how that's worked out. A little bit of instant karma for Baylor. But at the end of the day, the guy still qualified because he hadn't played NBA minutes. Amari Bailey's played technical, real NBA minutes. This is something that's, if this happens, there's nothing that says, hey, LeBron, your time in the NBA is up. You want to go to Ohio State or Arizona with your kid and win a championship? Sure, I've got eligibility. I've got all the money in the world, so I don't really need NIL, but I do have eligibility. This is where, I feel like we say this every week regarding something, whether it's James Najee, whether it's the Darian Mensa, sorry, Les, situation at Duke, or the Demond Williams. Or, dang it, Demond Williams is still the guy from Sanford and Son. Whether it's the Williams situation in Washington, uh, it feels like every week we have a new crisis, a new constitutional crisis in the NCAA. And this one just feels like another escalation. I mean, like I said, you've got a guy playing NBA minutes. Who's to say that a guy like Just going to pick a guy off the top of my head here who I don't think played his full time. Scala Bicier can't come back and be like, hey, UK, heard you needed a big man because Jaden Quiddens is having some injury issues. I'm going to go play for you guys now and play those extra 4 years. If this happens, we're entering a weird phase. And I mean, we're already seeing the court battles play out, like I said, with Duke and Dybantsa. And if you guys haven't been following this, like on the podcast, it's going to be an HBO miniseries in about 4 years with the Bediako saga at Alabama, where the judge is a booster, or is he? Or then getting a change of venue to get the eligibility right. And eventually, I don't know where this ends. If we're going to, for this time period where it's the Wild West, if they're going to take it, I mean, Baylor, like I said, is working hard to eliminate themselves, but Alabama is going to get like smacked by the committee with like an incredibly low seed or even out of the tournament. UCLA is a bubble team right now, and I'm assuming that if he was granted eligibility, he'd have to go back to them. They're playing Indiana today in a game that's super bubblelicious, but if he comes back and UCLA is like one of the last four in, if you're the committee, do you look at that and say, well, we need to set a precedent and just be like, hey, UCLA, get screwed? But yeah, this is opening up this is like opening multiple Pandora's boxes. You're going to like the big lots of Pandora's boxes. It's not going to end well. This is a Rubicon that I'm not sure anyone's prepared to cross. And that's what scares me the most, is that it's already the Wild West, and this could make it even more chaotic, even more vindictive, even more lawless. And that's what scares me the most about the Amari Bailey thing from the cultural standpoint of college sports.
I don't understand from the very least aspect of this how, on top of the fact that Amari Bailey has played NBA minutes, but take Amari Bailey out of it, I don't understand how it's becoming so common that these players that technically, though not playing in the NBA, are playing professional ball can just join college teams like mid-season. Like that's the part that has me just all kinds of flustered. It's like I'd understand if, maybe they were working on a deal, come back to college, and they were working on their eligibility in the off season, and then it took until the regular season to maybe like get official granted official eligibility. But how they're just like in the middle of a G League season, and they're like, all right, well, this ain't really working out. I'm gonna go back to college. It's like, how are we able to like work that out? That's the part that has me just like, okay, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Oh, Matt, go ahead.
I was good. I was seeing if you wanted to say anything.
Yeah, this just feels like for Amari Bailey, like he knows that he can make obviously more money in college, and it feels like, it's just like a second chance because it didn't turn out how he liked how it turned out. But I want to bring up a name because he technically didn't play college. He got selected third overall by like his international stats. What if like Enes Kanter or Enos Freedom wanted to go back to Kentucky and actually play basketball? Like that's what can possibly happen. I mean, he obviously played real NBA minutes, but like I wanted to bring up that name because I know he went to Kentucky, never played, but he got drafted off of his international stats.
I mean, yeah, where do we draw the line? I think that's the number one question with the Amari Bailey situation. Where do we draw the line now? Or actually, I'll be completely honest, there isn't a line anymore.
No, that's the scary thing. The line's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if they let him in, any semblance you had of a line is totally erased. And it's like Ryan and I were talking about, kind of jokingly, like, oh, LeBron could come back. But
Or Giannis.
just think about all those guys who have eligibility that like at Kentucky even who like could come back if that happens, who weren't like superstars. Could the Harrisons come back? I mean, they might have been seniors. I don't remember very well. My brain not function.
No,
But
they were sophomores when they left.
so I mean, there's still plenty of options like the Harris. We could have like the basketball tournament play out like in Kentucky again with all these guys coming back potentially. And I think why people aren't more up with it is that like this is really a basketball thing because we know football rules are different. You're staying for 3 years and then you could get drafted. And if you don't make it in the NFL, I don't really know if you can go back to college after that anyway, because it might be a little bit too much of a thorn to the pride of yourself. But worst case, you're coming back for a year if this like happened in football. With basketball, you could have 1 year, you could have 2 years, you could have 5 years. I don't know, and that's a scary thing. And like about leaving I think that's part of the problem the NBA is having too, is that like so many of these really good international guys are popping up now. The drafting is better than ever for NBA GMs when it comes to like getting guys from Olympianos and Maccabi Tel Aviv and Real Madrid and all that stuff, Borussia Dortmund, all those teams. That like these American players who you draft that when you're at a chance that don't work out and get stuck in the G League, it's like it's no big loss. I mean, you're developing these guys may or may not happen. You've got this ready-made Slovenian kid. If you're the Lakers, you can stick into the lineup and see what he does. And some of those guys are starting to trickle over to the United States, like Les said, from international waters. But it's just interesting because I don't really think these NBA GMs care. It's like, okay, you weren't going anywhere anyway. You're obviously not that loyal. I'd rather have this kid who from the Euro leagues who's like sitting on the bench right now because I've got my superstar. So I think that's part of the reason why too. And the money might actually be better in college. I mean, I know that's not what people are disclosing. We don't have to disclose that yet. But I'm imagining guys like Nanji and Bediako and Amari Bailey aren't getting like potatoes to come back and try and save like the seasons of teams that are trying to get back in it. I'm sure there's more money from a donor at Baylor, if it's Chip Gaines or not, or at Alabama, if it's Paul Feinbaum or not. I don't know if he's a booster or not. That's just a joke. But there's more money to be made from a booster who's desperately trying to get their team into the NCAA tournament than there is playing for the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. And I love the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. They're not even the Mad Ants anymore, and it pisses me off. But the point is, you're probably going to make more money off a desperate college donor NIL fund than you are traveling around the country to play the Sioux City Skyforce.
Here's my next question. Trenton Flowers wasn't granted eligibility for a lot of the same reasons why their argument is against Amari Bailey. So what is different about Amari Bailey that we can't say about Trenton Flowers?
I think it all has to do with the timing, I think that's really just about it. People are seeing the limit getting pushed now, and it's like, well, why the hell not? I mean, it's like I told you a few weeks ago. I mean, college sports playoff systems, we love them because they're the most random and weird things on earth. You can have a 16 seed beat a 1 seed. You could have a 10 seed in football make a run to the championship game. You can make Indiana good. But as we continue to throw more and more money into this, that randomness is going to be less of a feature and more of a bug, especially to the people who are throwing money into this. So it becomes a desperate situation of I've got money in this, I've got talent in this. We can't afford to have like a year of development. We got to do it now, or I'm getting a bad investment. Especially with these guys who are like giving the money to the NIL funds. They didn't get rich by making mediocre investments and then hoping they paid off. They are big swing, give me instant results. I want the resume and the money on my desk Monday morning type guys. And I think we're seeing now as we like increase the pressure and focus on NIL that we're going to be seeing more stuff like this where a team is desperate enough to just throw money at whatever sticks because a coach is afraid for his job, a GM is afraid for his job. Everybody's fearing for their jobs and afraid that if they don't get the donor money that they're not going to be included when the next round of conference realignments pop up. And so I think it's really all the timing. Whether we want to admit it or not, things are even more drastically different than they were 2 years ago in college sports with all of the lawsuits and all of the lawfare that's going on. It's just a time where you need to make a big swing while you can, because eventually it is all going to get regulated, and you don't know what that looks like either, and that's scary. But all you know is right now, nothing's inhibiting me. I need to get out there and I need to win. And so I think that's just what it comes down to is timing, timing, timing.
Well, if we need to get out there and we want to win, then I'm going to advocate for the fact that like maybe someone like DJ Stewart can come back to Duke. Maybe hell, even this year. Now, if Amari Bailey is granted eligibility from playing NBA minutes, where's do we draw the line of, hey, maybe a potential all-star in the NBA can't come and play minutes for Duke and Jalen Johnson? Because we all know that he didn't get even the full year out of his 1 year at Duke.
You don't think you can win right now?
No,
Are
I
you
think we
saying
can,
that
but
the
but
team is
let's go
not
all
good
in.
enough? Are
Let's
you
go all in.
saying
Let's
that Cam Boozer is not enough?
leave no doubt. Is all I'm saying. Cam Boozer and Jalen Johnson. Cam Boozer throwing outlet passes to Jalen Johnson
Cam Boozer watching Zion Williamson's shoe explode again. Oh,
That was
and cost Nike $1 billion overnight.
yeah.
that's still one of the weirdest consequential things that's ever happened, man.
Yeah, it's like the funniest thing is like a bunch of old timers like think, oh, a shoe can't hold a freak of nature like Zion. What makes you think he could hold me? Like, bro, be real here.
I just can't wait for the Seth Curry return to Duke. That's going to be the fun
No, he is out of eligibility.
Darn.
No, he played 3 years at Duke and one at Liberty. He is out of eligibility.
I forgot about that year at Liberty.
I was so excited when when the news broke that he was gonna transfer to Duke.
I just watched the highlights of like one of that Duke U of L game for 2013 last night for some reason.
I was at the game. Are you talking about the tournament game?
Yeah,
Yeah,
where
I was at that game where Kevin Ware broke his leg.
yeah, that was awful. I
It
forgot
was.
how bad that looked.
Yeah, that was bad.
Were you even born?
Yes, I was
You were 6, I know.
6,
I
but
was
I do
a
remember it. I remember seeing it.
I like how Les knew how old you were before you did.
Yeah. I do remember that game.
That was probably one of the first games you watched. It's like, welcome to college basketball. Now one of my team's players just broke their leg on national TV in front of
Yeah,
the whole world to see.
first thing we've ever seen injury wise.
That was such a weird experience to experience that live. Like, I mean, okay, I feel bad for saying that because obviously I'm not trying to discredit what Kevin Ware was feeling in that moment, but I mean, just being a fan at that game. I mean, when it happened, Tyler Thornton went down, hit a three for Duke, and then of course I'm checking the jumbotron to check the score, and all of a sudden you just see on the jumbotron like Tyler Thornton just like grabbing his head like in disbelief, and we're like, what the hell? And then we look on the court and like everybody's just down on the court, like holding their head or whatever, like crying and all this stuff. And then me, my grandpa, and my cousin, we're all looking at each other like, is the whole team hurt? Like, what just happened? And then like everybody just got out their phone. And what was so impressive, because even in those days, like media had advanced, but it hadn't advanced to like what it is now. But like within seconds, people were getting updates of like, oh, Kevin Ware, compound fracture in his leg. And we're like, whoa, like this is impressive how fast everyone's getting this information. But then also to see the momentum shift in real time was, I have to say, I was obviously cheering for my Blue Devils, but it was a special moment for Louisville fans, I will say, because you could feel the vibes in the air that they were just rallying behind their brother, and I have to have respect for that.
Where was the game at?
It was in Indy.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah. I remember that game. Sorry that we beat you.
No, you're not. Do not apologize because I know you're not sorry.
Have you ever been to Cameron Indoor?
Yes,
Oh, you have?
I have pictures of it if you want to see them.
I mean, I believe you, but I just didn't know because I've you usually you haven't shared those pictures, so I wasn't sure.
They're on my Facebook, actually.
Oh, okay. Who'd you see them play?
South Dakota State.
Ooh, the Jackrabbits.
Yep.
Jackrabbits.
Met their coach, too. Really nice guy. Their
Really?
coach at the time. I don't know if he's still there. Do what?
Who was the coach there when you were there?
I forget his name, but we met him after his press conference. Actually, super nice guy, and actually got to shake his hand and tell him like that he coached a really good game because he did. Because I mean, he actually was one of the first coaches that year that really exposed, I think, Duke's one weakness this year, and that's guarding the pick and roll perimeter shots. And he really exposed that. And South Dakota State beat the spread because of it. Duke still won by 16, but you got to remember they were favored by like 28.
What year was that?
That was 28. It was 2018. No, 2017. It was the year we had Marvin Bagley and Wendell Carter.
Oh, okay.
Wendell Carter. There's a guy who could come back for you.
I mean yeah. Even despite the fact that he's starting for the Magic.
Oh well, who cares?
Yeah.
It's just the Magic.
Well, hell, at this point, Marvin Bagley could come back.
What about Jahlil Okafor? Would you welcome him back?
Wait, South Dakota State, right?
Yeah.
It says that TJ Otzelberger was the head coach.
Oh shit.
That's a pretty big guess. That's why I was curious. Like, there's no way you meant Otzelberger, is it?
Yeah,
apparently.
That's
the 2017-2018 season.
Yeah. Oh, 2017-2018.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
Ryan looks at
it says, and then the start of the 2017-2018, and that game would be at the start of the season. I think it's TJ
Just
Otzelberger.
met TJ Otzelberger. Just met one of the
Well,
best coaches in the game. I knew he was a good coach, but damn.
less new. Less new before it was cool.
Yeah, so that is my claim to fame now. Is I knew T.J. Otzelberger was going to be a great coach before he became a great coach at Iowa State.
But
Yep.
long before Iowa State. That's just hilarious. It's like there's no way he met Otzelberger and he doesn't remember it. It's like, oh wait.
Yeah, oh, wait, I did.
And all I can say is I met Archie Miller, and that wasn't very fun.
That wasn't very fun.
No, that was not very fun.
Is he a douche?
Uh, well, he did really. He just wait. Well, what happened was we were eating at a restaurant in Bloomington, and he walks in with a recruit, and everyone cheers for him. And he's just like looking at everyone like, "Why are you all clapping for me? Shut up! You're freaking the recruit out." And it's like, okay, you don't want them to know that the fans care. Okay. And this is before he even coached a game. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if this guy's going to work.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say it's like well, you would think like if you haven't even coached a game yet and you're getting applauded at a restaurant, you would think that would be like a feel good moment, but I guess
You're in
not.
Indiana. You should know the fan base is passionate about basketball. You're just like, I'm like, yeah, that's what I knew that probably wasn't going to be a great move. And then, of course, everything he did after that was a meme. So,
Yeah. And now his brother's coaching at Texas, and actually, I think if this team could get one more year together, they could be really scary.
alas.
Alas, but they won't because Dalen Swain will more than likely go pro. A couple of guys are out of eligibility. I think Kendall Weaver is going to be out of eligibility. Um, if whatever players that do have eligibility, I'm sure some will hit the transfer portal. But the good news is we do have Austin Gooseby coming in next year. Good
He's
player. He's a good player for Dynamic Prep, coached by Jermaine O'Neal.
He
Ironic.
Jermaine O'Neal.
is he related to Trevor Gooseby? You're,
No,
I'm
no,
sorry. Oh,
no. I was trying to remember. It was like, no, I don't think they are. That is a great question because I mean, like, both named Gooseby, both now playing at Texas, and both would be playing at Texas.
yeah.
Well, yeah, next year, yeah,
Gooseby Land, Texas.
Gooseby land. But no, I don't. I do not believe they are related. Actually, I'm gonna double check that real quick.
Well, let's double check that. We were talking on the Monday show we did about Michigan, right? And they played two really good games this week against two really good teams. And it proved kind of what we were all talking about, like being worried about them with the guard playing the perimeter. But I will say that
Well, shit, they are brothers.
Let's
oh
go.
my God,
Look at Ryan stumping me on my own team.
plot twists abound. Plot twists everywhere today.
I just, like the Gooseby is not a normal last name or not a common last name, so figured maybe they are. But
Hey,
that's
I
that's
know
a,
6
that's a
Gooseby.
crazy like amount of talent for brothers.
No, it is. I mean, you have one that's going to be a first round pick in the NFL draft when he declares, and the other is going to be more than likely a first round pick in the NBA draft when he declares.
Yep.
And then they can both come back.
Yep.
Exactly.
The thing I was talking about with Michigan was watching those two games. I am noticing that something is happening that I think could kind of change the outcome of their season a little bit. And that is I'm watching Trey McKinney, freshman guard. He's coming into his own. He's playing
Yeah.
very important minutes. He's hit a couple of very important shots. If he continues that pathway to development, that could alleviate not all, but some of those issues we were talking about them on the perimeter and then with the shooting going forward into March and stuff because they've already got crazy depth. If you had another guy who's that young who could contribute that quickly and play a position where they actually kind of have a quote unquote need, that could be a big game changer for them going forward. And especially in a game like last night where you dominate the first half, choke everything away, and end up tied on that Kohler three, and then you still find a way to win by I think 12 points.
Hmm.
That's pretty good. I mean, if you're Michigan, you're getting a lot better if you add like a guy like McKinney in there, especially. So I think the development of Trey McKinney is one of those things we got to watch because it may make a big difference going forward for Michigan. They're already a good team. I think that could help assuage some of those fears we had about them on Monday and make them into a potential team like we saw in Las Vegas during the NCAA tournament. But time will tell. Time will tell. That's just my observations from a week where we talked about it.
And
Yeah.
that's to your point. I think with the development of Trey McKinney, that will fix a lot of offensive issues. But, there's still that fear of being able to defend the perimeter. But if at the same time, if you're opening up an extra element on offense, I mean, there's enough that could balance out.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, they looked very, very good last night. I don't think Michigan State could shoot well, and sometimes that happens with the Tom Izzo teams. But Elliot Cadeau came up huge for Michigan last night. Morez Johnson, he's just I feel like he's still underlooked for like how good he is in the paint. Just because I mean they got three. I would include Yaxwell in there. Three good big men in a day, Morris, and then Yaxwell Lindeborg. So they looked very very good, and they they blew the lead, but they were able to put it back in their control and win the game.
yeah, that's the unfortunate part. When you have like three really good players at one position, or
Yeah.
like one, yeah, in basketball, I mean, the third guy often goes unnoticed. I mean, you could say the same, not to bring my Blue Devils into it, but when you have Cam Boozer and Pat Ngongba as bigs, I mean, Duke fans don't, but a lot of people forget about Malik Brown. Even Malik Brown's arguably the most valuable of all three,
Yeah.
arguably.
Yeah.
So that's just the unfortunate reality of it. And as far as Elliot Cadeau goes, I'm still a believer in Elliot Cadeau. I mean, just being a fan of that kid, how he runs the show as a true point guard from his days at Link Academy, I'm still a believer. I think he's one of those players that you're not going to be able to watch the box score and really get a feel for how he impacts the game. You just got to watch the tape and see what decisions he makes on the court. So I'm a believer in Elliot Cadeau. I'm just glad that he's not in North Carolina anymore.
That's fair.
That's true. If I would tell you that Robbie Avila had 7 points and 4 rebounds in a game, would you? How much do you think? How well do you think St. Louis would have done in that game?
Given how you worded that, obviously I know St. Louis did really well, just
Yeah.
given how you worded it. But to your point, if I first heard that, I would think St. Louis maybe lost by 10.
Brian, do you want to take a guess, or you just want me to tell you the score?
Um, I don't know, but I did say one game that he had the go ahead bucket to win. But is that a different game?
This is a different. This was just from
Okay.
last night.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I would have said the same thing that they just had an off night and lost.
They won by 30.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They beat Dayton by 30, 102-71 last night. Avila only had 7 points. Green was the big scorer last night with 23. I'm telling you, that St. Louis team, they may not be like Gonzaga when the tournament comes around and roll people, but they're going to put the fear of God, if not defeat, a team that's probably expected to win because they're just so good at balancing the scoring now. I got the opportunity to watch a little bit of it. I mean, Dayton having a bit of a down year, but they're still Dayton. They still have talent hiding in that roster at various places. And
Dayton is always going to be a respectable group of five team.
and I'm even going to go as far as to say we need a two bid A10 because realistically, like I said, St. Louis should be undefeated, but George Mason, I think they deserve a shot too. I think in the scenario where George Mason beats St. Louis in like the A10 championship game, they both need to be in because St. Louis, to deprive the people of Larry Nerd and Kareem Abdul Jabbar 2 times is a sin so egregious. I think we may have to like end the NCAA and just let LeBron play because that would just be how bad of a take that would be because man, this St. Louis team is just so much fun. They are so good. And like I said, people who think they're totally dependent on Robbie Avila are deluding themselves because that's just a balanced Josh Schertz scoring barrage of a team. So I just wanted to get that in there too because I know we talked about that. Miami also won, the Red Hawks. So, but it was another buzzer beater, of course, because that's the only way they win, I think, is to give everyone in their fan base the fear of God heart attack. But still nice to see. Still nice to see. But yeah, St. Louis 21-1 now, coming off a 31-point win over the Dayton Flyers. Definitely something to watch going forward too.
But you know what else there is to watch?
Basketball today.
Yes, basketball today, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a premier Big 12 matchup between the BYU Cougars and the Kansas Jayhawks. But more importantly, we have a rematch between two of the top recruits in this class. Number 1 ranked AJ Dybantsa versus number 2 ranked Darren Peterson. Two of the best freshmen in the country, two of the best players in the Big 12. And if you all remember, If you all follow high school basketball like I do, there was a very historic matchup between these two last season in a game where Prolific Prep defeated Utah Prep in a matchup where both of those players absolutely went bananas. Darren Peterson finished with a staggering 61 points, while AJ, not too shabby himself, finished with 49. So, with that being the marquee matchup of today, who wins? The Kansas Jayhawks or the BYU Cougars?
I feel like I'm dominating, so I'm gonna let Ryan go first.
I don't know. Where's the game at? Where's the, do we have to fact check this?
Who's playing where?
I'm going to fact check this real quick.
We're gonna fact check. Yes,
And this is not going to be dependent on my answer.
it is at Kansas. It is
Yeah,
at.
that's what I wanted to say. It was at Kansas, but I wasn't
Hey,
like
I
I
was
didn't
in
have
the
it up on top.
wrong. I was originally going to say Kansas, but now I'm even more going to say Kansas. Um, but
Kansas
that,
is favored by 4.5.
yeah, that doesn't mean I'm saying like they're going to win by even more, but I think that Kansas will have more than like BYU is good players, obviously with AJ and Richie Saunders and Rob Wright, but I'm picking Kansas, and I'm just glad to see that Darren Peterson is healthy to play. It sucks that he's had some injury issues this year that has kept him out, but I love seeing him play, and I obviously love watching AJ. So, but I'm going to go with Kansas, and I think that they win.
Now I've looked at the schedule here, and I had to make sure this was accurate before I said anything. But I think that BYU, incredibly, has only beaten one ranked team. That was they beat Wisconsin by about 30 way back around Thanksgiving. But they've lost to UConn, they've lost at Texas Tech, and they lost earlier this week to the number one team in the country, Arizona, only by 3. It's not like they've gotten blown out in any game they've lost. But when you're at Kansas in a scenario like this, and you know that you're going to be in the tournament, this is where if you lose this game, that narrative starts to creep up that, oh, you can't beat a ranked team. Ooh, you can't beat the top tier ranked teams, especially. We're going to drop you down to a 6 seed and give you a really hard path. So I think that BYU desperately needs to have a bounce back game at Kansas. And I think they do get it. I think they do get it. I think this is a like 3 point BYU win. And I think it does become one of those epic battles between Peterson and Dybantsa that we tell our grandkids about 20 odd years from now. So I think BYU is going to try to change the narrative on them and ranked teams as of late. And especially coming off a loss, you really need to bounce back, even if you are on the road. So I'm going to take BYU in a really close game, like 83 to 80.
Boo.
I'm the tiebreaker, and I'm actually going to go with the Kansas Jayhawks because the last watching these guys up through the recruiting ranks, every time there was a marquee matchup against, Darren Peterson against another high profile ranked recruit, Darren Peterson just takes his game to another level, and I expect the same thing today. But also, let's be honest here, Allen Fieldhouse is one of the toughest places to play in college basketball, and I mean that both as a compliment and as an insult at the same time. Yes, the atmosphere is crazy. Yes, it gives the team an advantage from that regard, but all the years that I hear the narrative that Duke gets all the calls at Cameron, they do not hold a candle to Allen Fieldhouse, and it's bad. So I think ultimately if this game was at BYU, I actually agree with Matt. BYU would probably win, but with this game being at Kansas, I just feel like there's going to be somebody's going to rig this game somehow, and Darren Peterson's going to go off.
I can see
Darren Peterson might like all these phantom fouls that AJ Dybantsa gets. He's not going to get at Allen Fieldhouse.
that is true.
Did you all see my tweet on that, by the way?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I said, for those who don't know, I tweeted out that AJ Dybantsa is a star because of all the phantom fouls he gets.
I did see that.
Yeah, this is just like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, James Harden, any of those other superstars that get phantom calls.
SGA. Bill Self is coaching today, though, right? He's
Yes,
scary.
from all accounts, I hear he's coaching today.
Good. I'm glad he's back in shape because you never want to see like one of the great coaches of the sport, especially with his history, get befelled by another heart attack or heart issue. So I'm glad to hear he'll be coaching today. that may make a huge difference too, because Texas, Kansas is definitely going to be playing for their coach, especially
Yeah.
after a scary week like that. So it's going to be a fun one. That's all I know, 1,000% for sure.
Yeah.
100%. Can't wait. 4:30 Eastern time.
And then
I
even,
mean,
oh,
and
sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say, and then even tomorrow there may not be any football, but we get Nebraska and Illinois. That's going to
That
be a hell of a game too.
yes, it will.
Well,
Nebraska ball trying to avenge a loss, no longer undefeated.
They've beaten Illinois once. Hard to beat the same team twice, so I've heard.
So they
but
say.
yeah, Les, I'll let you get the ending in real
Why,
quick.
thank you, sir. As always, like
Oh,
and
don't worry.
subscribe to the Less is More Sports YouTube and Spotify channel to get the latest updates we have on content coming out. Be sure to follow the social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Threads as at Less is More Sports. Why, thank you, Ryan. That was awful nice of you.
Why do you
Yeah,
do
this is what
that?
I'm here for. But I was gonna say, and also tonight we have, Cal versus Kentucky. We have that rematch. I think this one's at Arkansas, so it's gonna be. I expect Arkansas to win.
Me too.
Yep.
But
The,
yeah, that's always, storylines of storylines.
the real winner of this weekend, though, Puxatawny Phil, because we got
The
another
groundhog.
non-cyclone moving up the
Yes.
coast.
The groundhog whose name I didn't even know.
Are there going to be 6 more weeks of winter? Who knows? Only Puxatawny Phil knows.
Well, I think my odds are we are going to get 6 more weeks of winter.
I think we are.
Can
There's,
you, Matt, can you let us know in the group chat if he sees his shadow or not and what it means?
I will. Remember, the shadow is. You want him to see his shadow. No, shadow is 6 more weeks of winter. So you don't want that.